Hello everybody, SirMonkeySuit, all Zappy here, back with Psychopaths. We're on episode 3 of season 1. And yeah, so in the last couple episodes, the first 2 episodes that we have seen, I'm already excited for this because I think it's an interesting sort of like concept. The idea that, well, first of all, we're in a cyberpunk like style world. The whole law kind of justice system runs on a system which is called Civil, which evaluates people's psyche, and depending on how high the scale of like the number scale goes, depends on what sort of and what type of force is necessary. So I think it goes from, you know, like normal. I think 60 and under is fine. 60 and above is a, I did write it down, I'm sure I did. Emergency therapy. I don't know what number that goes up to, but essentially it reaches a number, and then after that I believe it's non-lethal force, which is a paralyzer, and then after that it's lethal force, which is death. Which and they all use this on a Dominator, which can only fire if the if it's aiming at a person who is a threat, and it obviously it reads their psyche number depending on what it is, depends on what's like, I guess, what mode it turns to. Just fucking, it's just great. I love that weapon. If I can get a replica of that, I kind of want one because it's cool. But yeah, so it's definitely an interesting concept, and I think, you know, the main sort of what I can kind of sense is that the story will revolve around, obviously, Akane, and her sort of you know, her thought process revolving around this system and how it's not entirely great, like, you know what I mean? Because I believe it's fucked, really. The justice system's fucked because, you know, people can be put into therapy for just stress. They could even be, you know what I mean, like the stress levels can get so high to the point where they could be paralyzed or even be used like lethal force against. We saw that in episode 1 with the person who was like essentially being tortured by a criminal, and just because she was being tortured, she was absolutely scared, she was out of her mind, her psyche was a bit fucked up as well. So, you know, it's completely fucked. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this goes. And we've also got Kogami as well. He's gonna, I'm guessing he's gonna be like one of the main characters. Apparently he has something with this other guy, Makishima. I'm sure that'll come to blows eventually. Yeah, and everything's pretty much, a lot of shit is holographic. Like they can change the look of a room, they can change the clothes. It's mental. Yeah, so they're part of the Public Safety Bureau, which is obviously in like law enforcement and shit. They have obviously enforcers, which Kogami is, which is essentially they can be classed as like latent criminals who essentially have like one or two, like they only have like the option essentially of, if they want to be free from like, I don't know, cells and shit, then they can do this sort of job in order to do it. Yeah, so Shusei is one of the guys. He's the guy who I feel most sorry for, I think. Just judging by the way that he is, I feel like, you know what I mean, he hasn't been given the greatest choices in life. So yeah. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else to really talk about. So we're just going to get into episode 3 and see what this is about. So let's go. In the gym.
被害者は塩山大輔27歳、八王子ドローン工場勤務。午前4時ちょうどに死体が発見された。テスト中のドローンによって体をバラバラにされたらしい。現場はドローンの挙動検査セクション。完全自動化された生産ラインの中で唯一の有人区画だ。 検査前のドローンに誤作動を誘発するプログラムを仕込めば、事故を装った犯行は十分に可能だ。
ということは
殺人の可能性もある。
ギノザ監視官、
なんだ。
私執行官のみんなとうまくやっていけそうな気がします。
それは同僚としてやっていけそうという意味か、それとも調教師としてやっていけそうという意味か。
ようこそ刑事さん。
現場を見せていただきます。
もちろん案内しましょう。見ての通り危険な業務です。
デバッカの方々にとってもかなりの負担なのでは。
そうですね。実際ここは外と違ってストレスケアの手段が乏しい。
オフラインなんですか、ここ。
回線そのものが設置されていませんし、この建
Look
物
at that
自
guy's
体が
face.
電波暗室になっています。なので外部の通信網にアクセスする手段は一切ありません。これはすでに初動でドローンが処理した後でして、こちらが記録だそうです。
死体はドローンに生きたまま解剖された状態か。
すっげえ。被害者塩山さん、誰かに恨みを買うようなことは
ありませんよ。優秀なスタッフでした。
しかしこれで3人目となるとさすがに多すぎやしませんかね。
先ほども申し上げた通り、危険の多い現場なのです。
I don't trust that guy.
そうしたドローンの分解調査は。
本部に搬送を手配した。メモリーが予備を含めて吹っ飛んでるらしい。あまり期待しない方がいいだろう。
Why would the backup and memory be gone of it? Well, clearly it's been tampered with then.
わかりました。
こちらが施設内の全職員のサイコパスになります。定期診断の詳細値と常設スキャナーによる色素判定の記録です。達人を疑うにしてもまず容疑者がいませんよ。
それはこちらのデータをシビルシステムで分析してみるまでわかりません。ドミネーターです。一度すべての職員を電波暗室の外に出し、こちらの機材でチェックさせてください。
しかしそれではこちらの業務に支障をきたす。自分の一件が殺人事件であるという証拠を提出してくだされば、もちろん当方も協力します。
Of course.
ですが現状あれは事故と判断するしかない。
Look how suspicious this
こちら
guy
の業
is.
務を阻害してまで職員の取り調べを行うのであれば、まずは経済省を通して業務計画の変更手続きをお願いします。
ここってば経済省管轄の官営なんよ。お役所は縄張りの利益を守ろうとするからね。余計なちょっかい出されて工場の生産効率を落としたくはないよね。
据え置きのスキャナーで計測できるのはせいぜいが色素判定によるストレス傾向ぐらいなもんだ。サイマティックスキャンのデータをもとに精神構造を割り出し、職業適性やら犯罪係数まで診断するとなれば、シビラシステムによる解析が必要になる。全てに優先して割り込み処理を要請できる。だから銃口を向けた途端、タイムラグなしで相手の心を丸裸にできるのさ。ところが抜いてみな。
ユーザー認証、常森茜監視官、使用許諾確認、通信エラー、システムとのリンクを
Doesn't work in there.
本当のところどうなんでしょう。
事故死の可能性ってか。はっ、笑わないようにするのが大変だった。
ですよね。
あの現場見て直感できなきゃデカじゃねえよ。殺しだよ、殺し。
動機は何でしょうね。
仏のありさまから直感で言わせてもらえば怨恨だな。
でもここの人たちのサイコパス色素割と安定してるよ。
どんな場所でも気晴らしの方法は。
よう君どりやろ。今日もまた優雅に個室でランチかい。
何ですかあれは。ひどい。
ああ、あれはいいんです。放っておいて。
は？
よくあることなんですよ。
Oh yeah, so it's alright then.
何分娯楽の少ない環境ですからね。一人ああいう立場の人間が必要なんですよ。だでしょ？メンタル管理には十分配慮していると。彼は彼で役に立っている。
They do that specifically to him to keep him on a certain what psyche level? Like
大丈夫か。
I wonder if these detectives being here can bring down his like psyche level, then it might change something.
そいつは例外なく後に転属処分を受けているような。ところがここ1年配置換えはない。この1年
Ah, yeah, the guy who's been bullied, he's the one, isn't he?
データで一目瞭然だ。
That makes sense.
他の連中はクリアカラーなのにサイコパスを濁らせてるやつが一人だけ。
色相判定イエローグリーン。
なるほど。それで黄緑やろうか。
でもこいつ最新の計測値だと色相が好転してるよ。
むしろ濁りがピークだったのは塩山の死の前日か。
Yeah, so he feels better after the person that has been, like, people that have been bullying him have died. That's why, right?
タイマティックスキャンなんてなかった時代には別段珍しい話じゃなかったんだぜ。こういうの。
ふざけるな。またお得意の刑事の勘か。そいつはただの妄想だ。貴様のような潜在犯がただの社会のクズに過ぎないという証拠だ。1年に3人も死人が出るような秩序か。ギノ、俺にやらせろ。金原が黒かどうなのかすぐにでも確証をつかんで。黙れ。
私みんなに賛成です。ここで犯罪を見過ごすぐらいなら鴻上さんの計画を試してみたい。ギノザさんこそどうかしてます。正岡さんと何かあったんですか。
なるほど。君は愚か者の道を進もうというわけか。
ギノザさん。
愚か者は愚か者らしく、何もかも経験で学んでみるがいい。
Hello everybody, just a reminder that if you go into the link in the description to my Patreon and get the $5 early access tier, then you can gain access to 4 episodes of Psycho-Pass every single week. That's 2 on Monday and 2 on Thursday. So yeah, I mean, if you're wanting episodes a lot more frequently from me, then that is the place to go. Again, it's in the link in the description. Patreon, early access tier for $5 a month. On with the video.
ギノザさんって正岡さんと何かあったんですか。
あかねちゃん、それギノさんの前で持ち出しちゃった。
地雷踏んだわよ、あなた。
持ち合わせの通信ケーブルは200メートル分か。2階のエレベーターホールまで届かせるのが限度だな。
そこまで金原の野郎を引っ張り出せるかい。
やるだけはやってみよう。
He eats in the toilet.
こんなところにいたのか君と野郎。人殺しの後の飯はうまいか。どうなんだ。なんでそんな。貴様がここに閉じこもってる限り犯罪は立証できない。だがな、俺は貴様が嫌いだ。早速ネットに言いふらしてやるよ。金原裕二はサイコパスの濁った人殺しだってな。ちょっと玄関まで行ってくる。貴様はここに這いつくばって震えながら待ってるがいい。
He's got to get him to follow him, right?
これで金原が人を殺せるやつかどうかはっきりする。奴には下準備をしている時間もない。今すぐ俺を始末するなら前と同じ手口を使うはずだ。そこで犯罪が立証できる。
むちゃくちゃです。
奴が無実なら俺たちはこのまま無事に外までたどり着けるだろう。お前らが悪いんだ。
Well, well.
才の目が出たぜ、監視官。
この場で殺してやる。
They can't even use like fucking thingies either, can they? Like, you can't use radio frequencies either, can they?
どうしてこんな無謀なことを。
人の生き死ににまつわる真相なんだ。それを暴こうと思ったらこっちも命がけになるのは当然だ。
He seems so happy about it.
もう現行犯なんだから応援を要請して。
威圧執行システム。
Oh shit!
犯罪係数265、執行対象です。
ドミネーターの本気は
Fuck it, it's an awesome weapon, like, it's so cool.
猟犬でなく刑事でありたいとそう言っていた彼の眼差しは
He looks so in his
だが
element.
紛れもなく獲物を追い詰める肉食獣の
Yeah, he did. Okay, episode 3. I'm fucking I'm so like surprised that the Dominator can actually be used against machinery as well. Like that's crazy. Although then again, I guess the machinery and all that kind of stuff is actually powered, like it like actually has an AI. So I guess if it's all involved within the system, there's clearly like some computing technology that allows you to read like every single person's psyche and whatnot. So it doesn't. Well, I guess it shouldn't surprise me that, you know, like actual AI has it as well. Although it doesn't seem to be the case that the machinery has a sort of a number related to it. Because, well, I get, well, AI and whatnot can't really, well, I don't know. Because I don't know, an AI should be able to get to a point where it's sort of, it's so developed that it starts to, like, it could become stressed or whatever, right? But I guess they're not on that level. Because obviously they're still being run by humans. It's not like they're taken over, you know what I mean? So yeah. Alright, so anyway, from the top. So I found it interesting that Akane was, like, her first thought was to go with the crime coefficient thing. Because because she seemingly has issue with it, you know. Maybe not as much right now, but just not the biggest fan of it, you can tell. So it was interesting that, like, that was the first option she came up with. I guess, you know, with her being like a complete newbie, really, she clearly hasn't got the sort of knowledge or experience to come up with a different solution. So there was a. I'm gonna have to go back and just see what they said here, if I can find it. Yeah, anechoic. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but it's essentially, I guess it's a word for it basically, it blocks radio waves or anything of the like. So I guess if you had like an anechoic like wall or like, yeah, I guess chamber or whatever, and you placed a router outside of that wall and you go inside, you couldn't connect to the router's Wi-Fi, I guess. So yeah, it's sort of like that, a kind of thing. And yeah, I find it interesting, the fact that they obviously that they were using Yuji as a, like, the reason why they were sort of bullying him or putting him on that level was because that's the state that he needed to be in for where he worked. Am I right in saying that? Because that's what I got from it. Like, they were purposely doing that because that everybody who come before Yuji in that job had to have the psyche for that job. I feel like that's what they were saying. But the thing is that the guy who's in charge, right? The guy who looks suspicious as fuck, like, he had to know something was going on there. He had to have. He just didn't care. I don't know, but like, you know, I just think if, you know, if you have all of this, if you have the systems in place and it's telling you like Hugh is, you know what I mean, could be classified as something a bit, you know, a bit crazy, then the obvious person would be Yuji, right? I didn't really get a chance to see where he actually worked or what different sort of work Yuji was having to do, but you know, if he has access clearly to all of this stuff, which maybe the other ones don't, and I don't know. Yeah. So Akane basically asked Ginoza about like if something had happened between him and Masuoka. And obviously clearly something has in the past. And I think whatever's happened there has essentially given Ginoza a reason to hate the Enforcers across the board. Possibly something that Masuoka's done under the supervision of Ginoza that Ginoza didn't manage to stop or what. So obviously the Enforcers are there to just do the job and do whatever. And Ginoza couldn't stop him from doing something that he probably wanted to stop. Like, I could see it almost being like, I mean, I don't know how crazy it could be. Maybe someone Ginoza knows, maybe had like a psych evaluation of something like pretty bad, and Masuoka just followed the order of the gun and just shot the guy who Ginoza possibly knows, and maybe that's the reason why. But obviously he can't go and he can't like he can't punish Masuoka for that kind of shit because he's just going by what the law says. But obviously he hates Masuoka for doing it, so I can see it being something like that, you know what I mean? But yeah, it seems like Ginoza, like, just unrightly so, sort of has this image of the Enforcers as all just dogs and like pets, and like they don't fucking deserve any empathy whatsoever, which is quite, I don't know. I want to get more into the backstory of why this happened, because, you know what I mean, I don't want to shit all over Ginoza for something that I know nothing about, really, but, you know, it seems unfair that if something in particular has happened with Masuoka, who is an Enforcer, and Ginoza seems to have this whole thing against Enforcers, then, you know what I mean, he's basically tarring the rest of the Enforcers with them because of something that Masuoka's done, essentially, you know what I mean? So yeah, interestingly enough, it seemed like Kogami was actually in his element there, you know what I mean, when he was sort of like risking his life doing things. You can see, like, when he got down to the bottom of the stairs, he was like smiling and whatnot. I think this is something that he absolutely loves to do, so yeah, he was in his element, and that's interesting there as well. I don't know if the back to the, because I've just forgot to talk about the whole Ginoza thing when talking about Masuoka and whatnot. The Ginoza actually had a red glint in his eye, and I'm not sure if that was like I feel like obviously it was intentional. I'm just wondering if if that's supposed to mean like he has like not really killing intent, because obviously that, but you know what I mean. Like he's sort of like, if he was able to, he would. But yeah. So the last thing is I'm surprised. I'm surprised the Dominator wasn't set to lethal for Yuji there. And because, well, here's the thing, right? Is if the whole system is run specifically on Psyche, right? Then what if you get a criminal that is just entirely like unfazed by anything, by killing people? You know what I mean? If there's a criminal out there that's completely unfazed by the thought of killing people, right? So he just bang, bang, and he doesn't care. How do you fight that guy? You know what I mean? I feel like the whole justice system in this show is based upon like, it's not logical at all, is it? Really, it's not at all. It can be used to great effect when it's at its best, but it's way worse at its worst. You know what I mean? Like, you can kill people just for being stressed because they're tortured, or they're being in a very stressful situation. You know what I mean? I feel at some point, hopefully, that we'll get actually a look at the government, because I want to see what these people are like. Because I have a feeling that the government at the top are very fucking like pretentious arseholes. Essentially, like the guy who was running this fucking this factory here. Like I can imagine them all being like that, but like all up their own arses. You know what I mean? Like very fucking. I can see them being that way. But I could also imagine it being like very much just desserts when they get killed by their own justice system that they implemented. You know what I mean? But I'm already like writing off. I'm already like, you know what I mean? I'm almost like fucking, I don't know, end of season 1 shit, I guess. Like if that was ever to happen, it would be like that far in advance. You know what I mean? So I'm already fucking pushing way ahead that I don't really need to. But yeah, it's so fucking interesting the way. Like I there has to be a sort of faction, like a criminal faction that's rising up against this shit. There has to be, because there's no way. I just don't see how people would let this slide, like this kind of justice system, because it just doesn't work. Like it's not logical at all. Yeah, I think there's definitely going to be something big, like a corporation or like some organization that is rising up against this, and hopefully we'll see that shortly. But yeah, that is all for episode 3. So in the description below, I have linked a bunch of different things. One of them is the Discord. If you do want to join over there, then you can come speak to me, come speak to the community, do a lot of different activities and shit like that. Also, if you want me to react to a certain type of show, I urge you to go over there, because that is where reaction polls and things start for like the next show after, you know, whatever. So yeah, I urge you to go over there for that. My PO box address is in the description below as well, so if you do want to send me anything at all, you can do with that address there. I'll open it up, whatever it is on video. It'll be a nice little addition to the video. But if you don't want me to open it up on video, then just make sure you tell me with a package, and I will make sure not to. And finally, the Patreon, that's the big one. So for $5 a month, that's early access. You can gain access to 4 episodes of every show that I do. involved with Patreon every single week. So that is 16 videos across the entire week. That is Psychopaths, Suzumiya Haruhi, Tokyo Ghoul, and Code Geass. You get 4 episodes of those each every single week. And you get them a week early as well. So yeah, it's very good value for money, especially if you're clamoring for more reactions from me. So that's the place to go if you want that. Full length, that is $10 a month. That'll again give you access to my full unedited, reactions to every single show that I do. That is, all the shows that I just mentioned, ReZero, My Hero, Attack on Titan, all the stuff that I react to always gets a full length. So there's that. Exclusive tier patronage, that is the $15 a month. That gains you access to another show that I'm currently doing, which is Parasite. Every single OVA for all shows will go in there, and also future movies as well. Like I think that'll start with My Hero Academia 2 Heroes. So all movies and things like that, those will be put into the exclusive as well. Jumping up is $50 tier patronage. That is the elite tier. That'll give you one choice of a show that you want me to react to, and I will react to it. It will go into the back of the queue. There's a list of like about 7 other shows that I need to get through that will take over like future ones. So like there'll be shows that take over like the Code Geass when that finishes and whatnot. Eventually when I get through, I will get to yours. But it could take a while. But if you want to jump the queue, then you want to get God tier, which is $100 a month. That gives you, one show per every payment. It's all cumulative, both for God tier and elite tier. So, if you, my Patreon is on a pay monthly basis. So if you pay 1 month for the $100, you get one choice. Next month comes along, if you pay again, you get another choice, so on and so forth. And the only rules for God tier and elite tier are that the show must be 150 episodes or less, and it must be a show that I've never watched before. So that is all. So thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you all. Bye bye.